Hello there, welcome back to English class. Today I'm talking about another method of essay writing. So far we've discussed methods such as descriptive writing, narrative writing, we've talked about compare and contrast, we've talked about process analysis, we've probably talked about a couple other things. This one is going to be important when we write arguments, but it can also be used for many other different types of essays, and it's called definition writing. So if you think of the dictionary has definitions throughout that book. It's nothing but definitions. And definitions can be very useful in essay writing. Now, when I say definition, that basically means the explanation of a word or a concept or an idea. Definition writing is very important in arguments because you want to make certain that your reader understands what you are writing about. If you are writing about genetically modified foods, the reader wants to understand that. You want to explain what does that mean when a food is genetically modified. So it's important to define your terms. Defining your terms is going to be very important, especially in argument essays. Have you ever gotten into an argument with somebody and you realize maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes into the debate that the two of you really don't disagree? It's that you just didn't understand what you were talking about or what you were arguing about, and that might be because you did not define your terms at the beginning. In my on-ground classes, I often have students participate in what we call standing debates, and that basically means that I come up with an idea or a concept or a statement, and then if students agree with that statement, then they move to one side of the room. And if the students disagree with that statement, they move to the other side of the room. So I've had different topics over the years and lively discussions. And normally they're issue-based topics, like should this be legal, should this be illegal? But there was one time where I put this up on the board and asked the students to argue about it. I put the phrase, soulmates exist. And a very short, simple sentence, soulmates exist. And then I asked the students to go to the appropriate side of the room. So the students that agreed with that phrase, soulmates exist, they went to one side. The students who disagreed, they went to the other side. And then basically what I did is once they're in those groups, they talk amongst themselves and they try to get bullet points. They try to come up with ideas of why they're on this side, and then they're going to debate with each other and they're going to try to win each other over. So something very interesting happened. We didn't define our terms because I didn't think about it. I just popped into my mind. I put soulmates exist up there. So the side of the room that was much more, I guess, cynical, you might say, the side that didn't believe in soulmates, they gathered together and commiserated, and they came up with a long list. And like, yeah, there aren't soulmates. You can fall in love with more than one person, and there's no destiny involved with love. So they wrote out different ideas about why soulmates did not exist. And they were all unified. Now, the side that agreed with soulmates existing, they started to argue amongst themselves. Instead of coming up with an argument to win the other side over, they started to debate what we meant by the word soulmate. So some people in the group said, yes, soulmates exist, and there's only one soulmate for you in the world, and it's somewhere on the planet, and if you believe and try hard enough, you'll find each other, and that's your one chance at finding a soulmate. And other people said, oh no, soulmates, you don't even need to try. Soulmates, it's destiny. You are definitely going to bump into your soulmate, so you don't need to worry about trying. It's just going to happen. It's your destiny. Other students in that group said that, oh, well, soulmates, you can have lots of soulmates. You can have 4 or 5 different soulmates in a lifetime, and they'll all be wonderful romantic loves. And other people said, no, it's only one romantic love. And other people said, oh, well, no, a soulmate doesn't need to be a romantic love. A soulmate could be a person that you are very close with. It could be a best friend. It could be a family member. It could be your dog. And other people were going like, oh, that's gross. So within that group, they were arguing about what a soulmate was, and when time was up for the brainstorming session, this side, they lost because they couldn't come to a cohesive definition as to what was a soulmate. Normally don't have bugs out here. So that's my little anecdote as to why it's important to define your terms, especially when you are jumping into an argument. So in a lot of different essays, the defining of one's terms might happen in the introduction, or if it's going to take more time than that, it might happen maybe in the first body paragraph, but it should happen soon. It should happen in the first or second, maybe the third paragraph. So if you need to define your terms for your argument, then you want to do it early on, hopefully the first or the second paragraph. And I did want to mention that there are some delightful essays that are essentially definition essays. The entire essay is just exploring what something means. So it's giving very detailed information. How does one go about writing a definition essay? There are a lot of different ways to do it, and I'm going to include a link to a satirical essay down below. I'll link it, and it is by Judy Brady. She is a female author, and she wrote this essay called I Want a Wife. She wrote this essay in the 1970s, and basically what this essay is setting out to do is to define what it means to be a wife in the early 1970s. So it's basically laying out all of the social expectations at the time. You'll see it is a satirical piece in many ways, but it's also social commentary, and it's all wrapped up within definition writing, because it's basically saying, hey, these are the roles of a wife. These are the expectations within 1970s society of what a wife does. So there you go, Judy Brady's essay, I Want a Wife. I think it's a good example of a definition essay. And so that you learn more about definition writing, in addition to reading Judy Brady's essay, I would like you to write a paragraph in which you define a soulmate. So again, that's whatever your definition is. If you look it up in the dictionary, depending on which dictionary you look at, it might just say a soulmate is a close friend. Person that you have an emotional attachment to. But for a lot of people, a soulmate is something that's kind of mystical or very romantic or very much based in friendship. Sometimes it's about destiny, sometimes it's not. So try to come up with your own paragraph that explains what is a soulmate. And kind of like with process analysis, where it explains what to do and what not to do, a good way of looking at definition writing is to explain what something is and what something is not. So use examples, and those can be narrative-based examples, to help further explain and showcase exactly what you mean by the term soulmate. So there you go. Have fun writing about soulmates. Again, if we're writing a paragraph, aim for at least, well, in this case, aim for at least 12 sentences. So that it gets some development, and if you write more than that, that's great. All right, have fun with this journal writing activity, and feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions or anything you want to share. I will talk to you soon. Bye.